riferimento a un concetto della presenza, no? Vale a dire, noi sappiamo che Zaksa ha una continuità di gioco molto alta e noi vogliamo stare attaccati a Zaksa per arrivare fino ai 7 e giocarceli, e questo sapendo che il 7 può non essere continuo, no? Punto a punto, ma ci possono essere dei momenti in cui magari le due squadre si possono staccare, ma credere che attraverso il nostro gioco possiamo o recuperare o rimanere avanti nei break per poter poi giocarci tutto nel finale del set.
Well, obviously the plan would be to have perfect reception and to attack and score points, but at the end of the day, it's about consistency in the performance. Angelo stressed that he's aware that Zaksa is a team that plays with a lot of consistency and high level. So what is important is to keep the score close and to be at the end of the sets in the position to win those sets. There will be close ones. And it's also important to realize that if there is any break during the set, so one of the two teams breaks away and has a little advantage, that has to feel the ability to make up for this deficit if they are trailing behind, or to stay ahead if they are those that break away and the score. So that's for consistency. Attending this conference call, obviously because your opponent tomorrow is from Poland. They asked me to basically have an opinion from your side on Zaksa as a team, on Polish volleyball as well, as much as you can have, because you have been away from Europe for such a long time. So, and the team, Zaksa has changed quite a lot compared to last year, but how are your impressions and what are your feelings about that?
Well, unfortunately, for me, it's very difficult to compare the new team against the one from last year. But from what I saw now, this team is very balanced. They have a good distribution of of the point makers. They have a good trio of outside hitters, and they have a very important middle blockers. In that regard, I think they are pretty similar to us, and also in regard of the consistency of the play. We are the two teams that have a very fluent side out, if I can say so. So I think we are a really good match, and it will be an interesting game to see. For sure. Both teams have little surprises prepared for each other, but that will be left for tomorrow.
Angelo, you said at the very beginning that this team is a combination of youth and experience. I mean, you have different generations on the same team. Now the question is about two players, Michael and Matej himself, who are 17 years apart, as I'm told. How can you combine, different generations so well so that they can work together and they can be successful?
Io non ho fatto niente. Molto hanno fatto tutto loro. Chiaro che quando si avvicinano un grande campione e un astro nascente, il grande campione ha la prima mossa. E nel conoscere Mattei, le sue prime mosse sono state quelle della gentilezza e quello anche ogni tanto di sapersi prendere in giro, no? E questo ha accorciato le distanze verso il giovane. Dall'altra parte c'è stato sempre lo doveroso rispetto non a una storia, ma alla presenza attuale e al significato attuale della nostra squadra. Penso che questo qui se lo sono dati reciprocamente senza bisogno del mio aiuto,
Angelo says that he didn't do actually very much himself, but it's the players themselves who have been able to blend this youth and experience together. Speaking of Mattei and Alessandro Micheletto, it's the meeting of an established champion and a rising star that are on the same team. What has helped this combination is the fact that Mattei has been very kind and has, to some extent, made fun of himself so that he did break the barrier. And on the other hand, the younger ones have showed the deserved respect for Mattei, not just for the history and what he has achieved in the past, but also for the present and what he's doing for the team just now. So to this extent, Angelo is convinced that he hasn't done much, but much credit goes to the players, and he feels very fortunate and lucky to be working with players of his caliber and his level. Now the same question to you, Mattei, because the journalist that is from this through the chat said you have known Alessandro since he was a little child, essentially, because you did play at the time, and his family has been involved in the club. I mean, at that time as well. So how does it feel now to be standing next to each other and to be playing on the same team?
Well, for the most part, I try not to think about it because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to remember the young boy that he was a little bit older than my son now when I heard him first. And now he's a grown man, he's growing man, but he's already a man. He's playing at a really top level. He's amazing. And especially, but for Alessandro, but I'm speaking for the whole team as a whole, they were really, really mature when it comes to practice, when it comes to when it comes to professionalism, speaking about volleyball, they had a very good, they have to have very good habits of a good professional player, even at this young age. That's why I'm saying that he still has a lot of potential for the future.
Mattei, one last question to you, Angelo. This is more about Italian volleyball, let's say in general. There has been some success in international competitions this year. Monza won the CV Cup for men. Scandicci won the Cup for women. Now we have two Italian teams in the superfinals of the Champions League. What does it mean? I mean, if there was an additional success, that would confirm the leading role of Italian volleyball internationally. So how important is it that with every year, I mean, teams are still so successful and still so competitive?
Il ruolo dell'Italia, io credo che in questo momento qua l'Italia stia un po' meglio di qualche anno fa, sia perché qualche batosta sia per quel che riguarda il club che per la nazionale ogni tanto fa bene, e sia perché tutto il sistema nazionale club sta producendo una quantità di giocatori interessanti che possono garantire un buon ricambio. Non basta il numero di giocatori, perché ci vogliono dei giocatori non abili solo a giocare, ma abili a vivere la pallavolo di alto livello, e questo c'è la sfida di tutto il movimento nazionale e club insieme e mai divisi, perché quando si arriva lì alle sfide decisive la motivazione, la capacità, la professionalità, la voglia di vincere è un qualcosa che fa la differenza, perché non potrà mai essere molto più forte degli altri, potrà essere vicino agli altri, e in quei momenti lì non conta solo il set out e break point, ma conta anche quello che tu hai dentro. E adesso i giocatori li abbiamo, sta a noi, i giocatori soprattutto, inserire dentro la loro anima le cose migliori e utili per lo sport.
So in Angelo's mind, I mean, the situation for Italian volleyball has improved compared to some years ago. losing with the national team, or even losing for some of the clubs, was a good lesson to take. Sometimes it's a way to restart. It's obvious that all of the clubs are working really hard and producing a lot of good players, but it's not just about numbers. What is important is that the players can perform, but also leave what it takes to be an elite volleyball player. And when you reach the final stage of a competition, I mean, you are never too much stronger than the opponent. So what makes the difference is your motivation, the professionalism, what you have inside. So it is important that the clubs and national federation and the national teams continue to work together to inject, I mean, these positive values into the players so that they can make a difference when the time comes to play for the trophies. I think we are almost done, and it's taking me longer than with the others, but I mean, there is a lot of interest in the team and in the coach and the captain. So I would like to thank you for joining us today. Grazie della vostra presenza. Best of luck for tomorrow. All the best. And thanks for all who joined online to follow this session. Bye.
Un abbraccio Angelo Zagnoli. Sì, l'organizzatore è molto... Volevo fare i complimenti, Ho mandato molte domande, ma credo che Federico Ferraro lo faccia abbastanza. Se va bene farò domani, spero, una notizia, ma non è mica detto con lo scudetto. Chi tira la palletta peste lo coglia è una delle cose più belle che abbia mai sentito in 40 anni in cui prima da bambino mi seguivo tutto e poi e voglia, guarda, sono rimasto per Sassuolo Milan, non è anche l'accredito, ma mi piacerebbe venire, non escludo, anzi potrei andare stasera a Cuneo, quindi 27 anni dopo magari arrivate nella mia città, tutta più, intendo degli agguati fuori in albergo, ecco. Abbracci, in bocca al lupo, viva, peste mi colga. Peste